Guys,
Perfect.
absolutely zero difficulties coming in today. Everything is going as it's supposed to do. Welcome everyone to Grim After Dark. We're bringing you the latest Unreal news and unqualified analysis from the grim darkness of the far future. I'm your host, John. Joining me is Danny. He's a jolly old fellow. Welcome.
Hi, John. I'm really happy to be here.
I'm super happy. I'm glad we don't have a misleading title that makes people think we're going to talk about fantasy or anything even good. But to help us not talk about fantasy, we have our third amigo, Mr. Valerie Heffelfinger. Yeah. Hey.
All right.
Who needs
hey?
Not these guys.
You know what? I think the show works better without him. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I've got a second recording going on, so I have a second instance of OBS, and
amazing.
I'm not going to try to explain why it's not working. But anyway, it's not working. Here we are.
Okay. That's okay. We're here. We're clearly heard, and get used to it. Danny, Val, how's your week been? How are things?
Yeah, where am I? Nobody knows. I'm like Carmen Sandiego. It's been a heck of a week. Just getting back into school, getting that stuff kicked out. I'm ready to talk about some shitty opinions online, though. I'll tell you that right now.
Heck yeah, Val, how's things going? LVO T minus like what, a week and a half?
Week and a half. I mean, that would be generous at this point. I think we fly. Dickie and I fly a week Wednesday, so I don't know, a week and a bit. I'll give you a week and a bit.
Week and
9
a bit.
days.
Week and a bit. And while we're here, we're gonna just do a quick 30-second pause as we remind everyone that list submission for the Las Vegas Open 40K Championships event is today. So you haven't done it. We're going to give you 30 seconds to do it right now.
Do it now.
We mindlessly scroll on our phones.
And I'll advocate for you.
Yeah.
If you get a yellow card.
No. I mean, he's not legally represented, so it's fine. I think.
Yeah, Rule 44, man. I'm not there yet.
Get Rule 34?
44.
Oh,
so
thank
the
God.
list deadline's not even a full 2 weeks ahead of time? It's like...
What do you mean?
Week and a half-ish?
What do you mean, Val? The cutoff was the 31st, man.
That's what I mean, after all that.
You know, we just checked. We just checked. They changed the list submission to December 31st as well. But they only did that on the 12th.
And who thought Christmas only came once a year? Hey, there we go. That's not obtrusive. That's great. Thank you for the resub.
Wow.
That's very good. Tech Priest Dickie has set up some technology to give us some hints as to when people do wonderful things like resub, subscribe, probably do super chat stuff too. Feel free to chip in $1 to just completely disrupt the show. I think that would be a great call.
That's so good. We have some people unable to submit their lists. Guys, this is not the place for tactical or technological advice. But if you personally message Kicker on Facebook, that's, I believe, his preferred communication method, right?
I will use though my brief experiences as a TO, and I'm just gonna say, I'm just gonna ask, I'm gonna guess here that probably the wrong email is being used. That is like 99.9% of everything that I learned as a TO was that whenever someone couldn't find their thing in BCP, it's because they weren't using the right email. But maybe I'm casting aspersions.
Sure. What other takeaways do you have from being a TO? That's fairly interesting. I wouldn't have pictured you in that role.
What other takeaways do I have from being a TO?
Yeah.
Have someone else handle all of the terrain, mats, and table setup, as happened when I was a TO.
Quality.
You're gonna want to just sit at your desk, but I have it's basically I use the same technique. Whoa, thank you. Thanks for the resub. Thanks for the resub.
You keep resubbing to keep Val's face covered.
It's fantastic.
You can practically see the dollar signs in Val's eyes every time somebody resubs.
It's incredible. Maybe I could like move it off the exact center of the screen to some other kind of place. Super chat test. There we go. Fry Diddy. $2 up in my grill. I don't mind
Yeah.
the
I think-
animation design. It's pretty good.
He
Yeah, I
said,
think
"As
the
you
best thing-
wish."
Dicky in
$1.99.
chat letting us
Kelsey
Dicky in
says,
chat
testing,
letting
1, 2,
us
3.
know why is it smack dab in the middle. I think the thing is when you told Val to copy paste it into OBS, he did exactly that. So
Yeah, I
great
did
job.
exactly that. There we go. Here, we can move it over here.
Beautiful.
Or
The last
something.
thing
Put it
you
on the
want
couch. All right, guys,
is-
whenever you super chat or donate, you go right on our couch.
Right on the couch.
You
There
really
we
don't
go.
want to subscribe to the casting couch. That's all I'm saying. That's a different website. If you guys are confused, I can help you out with that.
Daddy
I've
can
never
definitely help
put that
you with
together.
that.
Let me just see.
Anyway,
here.
guys,
That's a porn reference.
Moving along.
slide 1.
Oh, I'm not
Slide
ready.
1. Oh my gosh.
Not
okay,
ready.
Oh.
Even better.
Well, my
Let's just-
Stream Deck's busted at the moment here. All right, here we go. Slide 1.
LVO's coming, guys, and the biggest streaming event I think ever is happening at LVO. Val, why don't you tell us about the streams that we have?
Actually, it is super cool. So obviously we have our stream. So both John and Danny will be present. Danny being an anchor, I don't know if he's read anything about what he's signed up for, but
I'm just gonna sit there. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm gonna be great. It's gonna be awesome.
we just
You've
get you
never
a nice
seen-
swivel chair and just wheel you around to where we need you.
Well, first of all, I have legs. I can push myself in a swivel chair from my hotel room. By the way, I'll be taking that back to the room at night because I'm not walking that far.
just shuffle pushing himself all the way up the carpeted hallway in a PC chair.
Just knocking
In a
over John
slightly
on his
more
Segway.
dignified fashion than John Cook.
I saw who's saying it's not Peter Gabriel. He was a drummer of Genesis, also singer. Phil Collins.
Oh, yeah.
I saw Phil Collins a few years back. This is an anecdote I've shared before, I'm sure, but nonetheless, I saw a few years back, and I didn't know what was up with Phil Collins, and he just sort of comes out on a stage with 2 canes, and I'm just my heart drops. I'm like, oh no, Phil Collins, and then he gets to the middle of the stage and gingerly sits into a PC swivel chair, a computer swivel chair. Proceeds to friggin' rock harder than anyone I've ever seen in my life, and never got out of the chair except for one moment. For In the Air Tonight, he stood up. He stood up for In the Air Tonight.
How long was that?
He was probably
performance?
catheterized.
Yeah,
Probably
okay.
two and a half.
That was my question. Was did he just peed in a catheter? Okay, that makes sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would probably have done. But anyway, we have our
I'd make
we
it
have
a
Danny in the
spectacle.
swivel chair. We got Johnny running around doing segments and stuff. And then we'll have one game. We're going to be covering one game in detail, and then we also have Dustin and Seth running around doing field reporting. So we'll be getting live updates. I think sort of a higher tier of field reporting than say anything I've ever done. So actually reporting turn by turn scores, having full scorecards for a couple of games in action, being able to take requests from the crowd to go find people out there and do stuff. Should be really cool. All that stuff
I
going on.
heard, Val, there's going to be a donation tier while you're watching where you can have Val pilot a drone to find your friend at the event and really just fly in his face when he's trying to make a move.
Drone cam is the last video input so far it's on the board, but this board has actually been moving along. It's been very un-whiteboardy.
What?
So we're on Hyperdeck. Next step is the RTMP server for the drones feed. And then, but yes, ideally drone cam back, guys. First time since 2020, the flight of the drone cam returning. Ideally, that was a big deal when drone cam happened. But in terms of other streams, though, we'll be doing one main table and then good broad tournament coverage. We'll be streaming the whole time, except for when we maybe go to some pre-recorded interviews and stuff that Steve Joel's done for us. So interviews with every past champion of the LVO, interviews with some of the people coming in from the UK. We just bagged Alex Quennell. He was, I believe, the first winner of the LVO 10 years ago. Remember, it was right. 10 years ago. That's what X means.
Where the X comes from.
That's what the X means, everybody. This was confusing to Kicker, but X in Roman numerals is 10. It's LVO 10, guys.
So,
Yeah.
question: have we had 10 LVOs, or has LVO been happening for 10 years? Because we did
It's
skip
been
a year.
happening for 10 years, and I'm calling the Nopen an LVO
That's
because
fair.
we ran
It's
the
a good
we ran the
replacement.
Nopen.
I have a hat, so
You have a
Yeah, I have
hat.
a
I've
good
got
hoodie.
like
and objective markers.
we got some of those.
got
Look at
those.
that. You telling me that didn't happen? You're gonna gaslight me, everybody? No, that happened. It was real.
I was
Anyway.
a Quennell boss for that.
I'm sick of the Nopen deniers.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can find the full list of events or streams.
I'm not done yet, John.
Oh my
I
god.
just have
Whoa.
ADHD.
Chilling.
I'm not
Wow.
done yet.
Yeah.
Well, I want to plug Wargames Live. They're going to do a second table in depth so that we have like sort of 2 tables of coverage from the 40K champs. And then if you're like, hey, my English isn't my first language, maybe
Hey,
it's Spanish
Val.
or French. We also have
Parlez-vous
French and
français?
Spanish coverage.
Amazing.
We got French, Spanish coverage. And then maybe you're like, I hate 40K. I'd rather watch fantasy. We don't have any fantasy, but
Well, that's
Games
disappointing.
Workshop themselves, Paul Murphy should be streaming our channel, but apparently being on Games Workshop is cooler. So he's on Warhammer TV, and they'll be broadcasting AOS all weekend, or as long as he can stand it, I'm sure. And then we've also got Kill Team. This guy's streaming Kill Team, and then we've got X-Wing, we've got Legion, and A Song of Ice and Fire, all being streamed from the
Hype.
LVO. You can find it all on this actually very conveniently reworded link, tinyurl.com/FLGNLVO. There's a
Almost like someone
miscommunication
set
between
that
me
up.
and Reese, and the original URL isn't so great, but that's fine. It's great. We have that streaming page. The links to BCP, by the way, will really help us out if you use the actual LVO landing page that BCP's built. It's awesome. We've got so much cool stuff happening. There's promotion. We'll be actually FLG is going to put a little bit of marketing behind driving people to that landing page. So we'll probably
Awesome.
have more viewers than we've ever seen. Hopefully, certainly in recent LVO history, and should be a really, really good show.
Well,
Yeah.
I have 2 things to say. John, do you need to say something? Because I don't want to. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I just want to say Isaiah Johnson in chat saying anything for the 2v2 narrative on stream. I don't think we have anything specifically streaming for it, but it's definitely an event we can check up on throughout the weekend.
Probably not.
But probably not, no. But Val, sorry, Danny, you were saying.
Number 1, I can't wait to disappoint an entire new audience of people that are tuning in for the first time. That'll be really great. And secondly, I have a question for Val. Will they be translating our jokes, like our commentary, or are they gonna like commentate on games that are happening?
So the way the Spanish have done it in the past is they basically just talk over the commentary.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
And they'll also be
That's
able
much better.
they're also going to be able to steal from War Games Live 2, or co-stream, I should say, from War Games Live 2 if they so choose. But yes, they'll be talking over that. And I assume that when we're just shooting the poop in the studio with Dan, perhaps he's doing some Dan splaining,
Okay.
which will also be a super chat option. I assume they will go to their own studio and talk amongst themselves with their chat en français or
Makes sense.
in Espanol.
The Quebec of LBO, if you will, right? Sorry,
Mhm.
Quebec, whatever, however you
Mo-
guys say it. I don't know.
Quebec.
Quebec.
Market Corn
back.
is still really hoping that someone gets slammed into the Spanish announce table like in WWE. I do unfortunately believe they're remote, but I can try slamming people into just the regular announce desk.
Yeah, I can help.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
want me to
Those
stand behind
sh-
someone's legs and you can push them over into the
Yeah,
into the
shield
table?
power bomb. We got it.
Perfect.
Slide dose comes up because while I was going through the streaming page to make that tiny URL, the faces of LVO 2023 popped up, and I was
Alright.
very confused at all this here. But this is the massive staff, and yes, that is a euphemism that are going in to making LVO happen.
It took me a minute to find the just bad picture I sent.
Where are you? Throw it back up. Here
On the
again. Where's
2
Danny?
on the top.
That's your black and white lawyer photo.
Yeah, dude. I took my school headshot. I thought we were getting headshots. I don't have a good headshot right now. So
I am in the middle of the 3 at the very bottom.
Oh yeah, I
That
see you.
was-
You look good,
That
man.
was that's my confused face when the first time I ever watched the rehearsal on HBO, and I had no idea what was going on. I was very confused. That was the best photo I could think of there. Amazing.
Truly
Excited
riveting
for that.
content.
I like
Truly,
that.
truly.
I like that kicker put himself right at the top of the L there.
He
That's,
sure did.
He sure
good.
did.
Bold.
It's good placing for. Oh, L kicker. Oh, I see. I get it. We got kicker Reese and Frankie in the V,
Mm-hmm.
and I guess they ran out of full-time employees. But
And then right on the 3 at the
Turnover.
very end, the streamers. Amazing. Moving on, guys, I have a couple of things I want to go over here. Then we're going to get to our dice competition that I'm very excited about here. But the next slide here shows something I found that disturbed and intrigued me. It was Primark Chibis. So I split them up into 2 slides, 2 sets of 10. This is our first set here that has a little rust, little curse, little can. Danny, you're more into lore than I am. What's a Kodiguro?
I'm sorry, a what?
The Kodiguro.
Kodigaro.
Kodigaro?
Oh, I know what that is, John. That's a
What's that?
fan-made stupid Primark.
Is it though? What is he? He's
It's
cute.
not anything. That's not a real 40K thing.
Are these
know that.
licensed things or are these just 3D printed things?
These are just 3D printed things. It's the evil of 3D printing.
They're actually originally cast in resin.
Yeah. Apparently
Huh.
those are very old. So there we go. Slide set 2. We can pull that up here. Danny, with your immense knowledge, can you tell me which Primark rocket is on the bottom left-hand corner?
Obviously, he's part of the Second Legion.
Yeah,
clearly.
Big peepee.
That's fair.
Yeah, missing
Clearly.
Primark.
Primark right
Rocket.
there.
Was he a raccoon?
And then he could be. He could be, but
should
he'll get
be.
mad if you call him that. But yeah, that's unless you had something interesting in there, like for some reason Dorn is holding a bone that a mad dog is trying to grab at. I don't understand why.
Dorn's got a
Mortarion
bone,
has-
you know?
Yeah, dude.
Mortarion has a
A
teddy
dog,
bear.
like a dog with a bone. That's how Dorn defends his fortresses. I liked Magnus's Star Wand.
Oh
Doesn't matter,
yeah,
yeah.
that's adorable. And his cute little monocle. That's
Yeah.
nice because he's a
I like-
cyclops.
That Lorgar looks insane. He's just shouting crap while holding toilet paper.
Is he?
I wish he was
pooping?
shouting into the toilet paper while holding a megaphone. That would have been a better look.
Yeah,
Weird.
that's fair. Yeah, but it's very weird. I found that. I just wanted to share real quick. It's for the audio listener. I mean, guys, it's almost 2 years now. You know by this point. But moving on, we had the Lehman Russ. Now we have the Dorn, the Rogel Dorn battle tank. And I found this one here suggesting the Perturabo Killdozer. On the next slide.
Oh man.
It says, take the fight to Dorn like a real bitter prick with the Perturabo pattern Killdozer. Danny,
Oh.
you're a crunch guy. What are the stats of the Killdozer?
Oh, easy. So it's got a low movement, only movement 8, but faster than somebody like running, right?
Sure.
That
Probably.
depends. Does
Maybe
it have
not.
does it have a local savings and loan in front of it?
Only if that's
It's
been
+3
built on the
movement.
easement that Perturabo wanted into the Imperial Palace, but was denied, and therefore he has to drive it to
For only 2 CP, you can put a small savings and loan in your opponent's support.
The real disadvantage, though, John, is that if you totally surround it, like every little bit of it has a model touching it, the guy, the operator inside commits suicide, and that's
Oh
it.
no.
This got so
Yeah.
dark so quickly. Oh.
That's pretty grim.
What are some other
After
Primark
dark.
vehicles? Jesus Christ, no. What are some other Primark vehicles that we should be able to expect in the future? So I have the Perturabo Killdozer, the Rogel Dorn battle tank,
Magnus unicycle.
this unicycle. It used to have 2 wheels, but now it just has 1.
Just the one.
Oh, man.
The Casero Khan, totally not a motorcycle.
Oh.
'Cause you just don't. He'll never get one.
It's a Kasara quad bike.
Oh man, the sanguineous pattern coffin.
Movement 0.
What about the Rabute Gilliman standing desk? You know, because
Oh
it's
yeah,
very large
that's
and in
really
charge.
popular in the Imperium.
You know, so you can get work
Oh.
done and still get some steps in. You know.
The original STC, yeah, it had a little treadmill on the bottom of the.
Evan coming in hot here saying everyone says cam bike, but I really want a Lorgar Pope mobile.
You know, and if I were going to picture a vehicle named after Lehman Russ, it would definitely be the van from Dumb and Dumber and not like a real tank.
Oh.
The Lionel Johnson Calvin-sized bed. Is he sleeping all the time?
We
Is
have
he sleepy?
established.
Is it so
We have
sleepy?
established that The Rock makes the "We Moe" a "We Moe" song in the flight through space.
That's
That's a lot.
Pretty sure that we made that joke, but I can't even remember what it is now.
That's
We did.
That's all right.
That's Grim After Dark lore is the.
That's right.
It's going in the notebook.
Guys, last week or 2 weeks ago, I made fun of a set of dice that I called unreadable, the Necron dice. But Mike Novo, the maker of the dice, posted this on Competitive 40K that made me change my mind. These dice now appear actually quite readable when they're not being super judged by people. So I felt kind of bad. I did challenge everyone, myself, Val, and Danny, to make their own set of unreadable dice, and then we're going to try and bully Kicker into making this set based on popularity. I found this is kind of slide 7 here. It's kind of like the base of what I found of a terrible dice. Danny, if you could describe those dice for the audio listeners.
Well, for audio listeners, we're looking at a dice, and normally when you put pips on a dice, they're in some kind of recognizable pattern or order. But no, these are randomly scattered all over the dice. 1 to 6 still, but not an easily readable order. You have to actually count the pips on each one.
In this particular case, also, I find the 6 particularly throwing me off. I keep reading it as a 5.
Yeah,
but in fact, but I think that has to do with how it sort of apes the layout of a traditional 5, but it's really a 6. So yeah, okay.
That's fair. Okay, so we did that. So I wanted to share, if we go to the next one here, this is the dice that I invented for my perfect, easy-to-read dice. It's my Eye of Terror dice concept. It's blue lines on a clear dice, preferably. And it is 6 circles nested inside each other. And each circle side of the dice has one of the circles as a dashed line instead of a full line. So like if the innermost circle is dashed, that's a 6. And if the outermost, it's a 1. So that is my dice concept.
I think dice. I think dice like a joke. If you have to explain it, it's probably not good.
I mean, generally my jokes not very good. And I do have to explain them most of the time.
Wait a minute. We can't stop the show now. We've been going too long. Like,
see, I burned you like 3 times in one sentence there. That was sick.
Yeah. So apparently, though, nuclear physicists will love those dice. So that's good.
Oh, maybe for like the ion count or something like that. Like what?
Who knows? Yeah. But yeah, the important thing to remember is the very innermost circle is the 6. And the outermost circle is the 1.
Bad.
That's all. Yes. That is clearly how that should work. Nuclear science is next semester for John. For his English degree.
This semester is German. If you're noticing
German and math for his English degree.
A concerning trend here. He's doing German and math. So next is nuclear science. I don't know if I like our odds.
Buddy, I already have all of my science credits. So with geography and life science, this guy all sorted out. It's all good to go. Val, why don't you describe your dice set that you made right here?
Well, I just thought that I've been very vocal about making sure that we're an inclusive community, and I thought let's trigger Danny as much as we possibly can. So I suggested that we make some dice with a very noble looking fox guy on it.
Well,
I
to be
know.
fair,
I mean, he's,
they're easy to read but hard to look at.
I mean, I think they all look pretty good.
I know that
Easy
the
on
full
my
image,
eyes.
the full image of that creature is naked and has a giant erection. So, like, thank you for that, Val. I'll be thinking of that anytime I see
Now
these dice
is
roll.
that the 6 or the 1? I'm not sure.
Vic
It's
in
the same
chat,
picture.
Vic in chat letting us know that those dice should be filled with liquid, and the pips move around. That's
Oh, like googly eyes.
all the googly eyes.
All right. Oh my
Amazing.
God, these dice.
Oh, that's so good. Danny, please describe your next slide and then let Val know when you want that up there.
Yeah, go ahead, throw it up, Val. Let's talk about these bad boys. So, what I did is these are just winged mistakes.
See,
I like. Oh man, you're gonna need a folder plus to get to pass that more out.
I like that not only are they the wingdings, but instead of having like a number, the amount of wingdings representing each wingding,
No,
these are actually the 1 through 6 symbols in wingdings on a dice. Like this, I think this is something special. This is up there with the shape system for ranges and the new kill team. I think this is kind of the similar zone.
Oh shit! I only got a filing cabinet plus a folder. I can't.
Sorry, your character's dead, John.
Get it.
If you re-roll it, hopefully you don't get an hourglass.
Guys, graphic design is our passion, and I think that came across very clearly. And it's fine. I'm crying. Oh,
wingding dice.
Wingding dice.
Do we even have any idea which number is which? Like, what is the 6 in this case?
No,
we do. So for that one,
what do we have? Do we have the Rosetta Stone of wingdings?
Okay, here, hold on.
Okay.
So the single page.
Yeah.
The single page is a 1. The
Nope.
page that's dog-eared is a 2.
Nope, you were very incorrect.
The 3 page, John, I'm explaining my dice. You're just gonna have to let me finish, okay?
I'm literally looking at the 1 numbers.
What's the 6? What's this open folder? Is open folder 6? That feels very 6-ish.
The open folder's a 6. The hourglass is a 1. Clearly,
the 6. Actually, the hourglass is the 6. The open folder is a 1.
Okay, well we were
no paper in it.
close.
3 documents. 3 documents is a 4. 1 bolded document is a 3.
Oh, 2 filing cabinets.
Yeah, 5 is a filing cabinet, and 2 is a folded open piece of paper.
Perfect.
Brilliant.
Oh, brilliant. This is there's lots of calls from chat to make this. So yeah, Kicker, if you're watching, check your inbox.
The wingding dice, I think Danny has definitely stumbled upon the official Grim After Dark dice of the podcast.
Guys, let us know. Super chat us and give us money if you would pay more money for wingding.
Wingding dice. Yeah.
But we can't let this entire episode go.
Also noticing that the alarm bells have kind of tapered off a little bit on the old alerts. Kind of trickled out there.
Yeah, guys, we only made a bunch of money at the start of this episode.
I think we almost did a cool $10. I think that was all right.
Val's downgrading to an executive.
That's more than I've ever
seen
in one place streaming in my entire
In YouTube ad dollars, that is 7 months of work. But we have one more die.
What? Oh yeah, okay.
We have one more.
I feel like this is a little bit. Yeah, slightly, but I'm pretty good though.
Yeah. So this is our Warhammer Fantasy dice, which I think should be the official.
They're square bases.
So they're squares instead of circles.
Yes.
I see.
But yeah, I should have started with that and finished with Danny's. A very, very good wingding dice. Guys, you want to talk some?
Thank you, Kelsey. By the way.
Thank you.
We'd love to sell you some dice, but
there he is.
Yeah,
there's
no way. Kicker now. It's up to Kicker now.
Kelsey's
so
up
be
to,
sure.
by my count, roughly $3.98 for the whole show. So
Wow,
This
It's pretty
guy's
good.
fucking whale over
Just
here.
yeah.
Well, reel them in. Don't watch Avatar 2. It will
Um,
break your heart as a fellow whale.
Guys, remember to watch Signals of the Front Line this Wednesday, so you can tell Kicker that you want to buy a brick of wingding dice, and we will make it happen.
Wingding dice.
But let's move
Hashtag
on.
wingding dice.
I will use everything in my power to make sure that wingding dice are legal at all frontline gaming events.
If you are on the stream table, you must use wingding dice while on a chess clock.
Wingding dice. God, that's
Oh,
a good bit. That's a good bit. We're
That's a
gonna be
good bit.
TikTok
I like
superstars.
that. Oh, heck
Wingding
yeah! As
dice.
long as it beats Camilleri, that's all
Yep.
that matters.
See what
I knew
happens.
it would happen for me laughing so hard that I cried.
Yeah, I also
So I'm really
I also
glad
cried.
I made it finally.
Yeah. Warhammer Plus streaming service that is out there. Wargamer came out saying that the streaming service has just 115,000 subscribers. There was sort of a massive reaction to this, guys, as this is kind of like a terrible number that has less than 200,000 subscribers after 2 years. What are your guys' views on the success of Warhammer Plus? We will go more into the financial aspects of it in a couple slides from now about how they're actually doing, but kind of what's your thoughts on the community reaction to this?
Well, I'm
that's like-
unaware of.
Go ahead.
Well, I think the community reaction would probably be pretty evident in the subscriber numbers. But you know, like what are we expecting here?
That's fair. Danny, what's your take been on this? Because it's kind of been derided as a really low number. I will say, I looked up some other things. It actually has more subscribers than AMC Plus. It has more subscribers than IFC Films, and kind of other
What?
things like that. Yeah, it's true. I looked it up. It's on Wikipedia, so it's got to be true. It's about as much fact checking as we're doing here. But Danny, what's your take on the reaction to this?
Well, you know, it's actually more capital than I thought that they were going to generate from that. Like I just did a little math, and like if roughly like half the people are full year memberships and not month to month, you're still looking at like $4.5 million or something like that. That's not. I wouldn't say that's chump change, but it's enough to keep, I don't know, paying animators to make these shorts if they want to. I get, again, I don't know what their profit margin is on this either, so that's kind of an important thing.
We're gonna get to that here in a second.
Okay.
Moving on to the next one here, which has some more information about Warhammer Plus. It says here in our next slide that the shows and animations have been viewed over 5 million times, and the platform is making a profit, accruing a revenue of $3.6 million US dollars against development costs of $2.9 million US dollars. So they're making almost $700,000 a year on Warhammer Plus. Are you guys surprised at that level of profit?
I mean, that's like 4 Space Marine kits in Australia, so I mean, I'm not that surprised.
Well, I mean, I think it's cool that they're at least breaking even, but it's also probably evident that they're spending to break even, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So like it sure looks like they're range bound in what they can actually produce and put out there by probably a desire to make sure they're not deficit spending to get the platform more content and stuff like that. I'm where Warhammer Plus falls up. I'm super fascinated to see. Oh, can't blow the lead. Actually, I did look ahead a little bit in the PowerPoint, but these numbers are certainly not surprising to anyone that was a vocal critic of Warhammer Plus when we discovered that it wasn't going to be just sort of stuff that they put where lots of people are going to see it. You know, like when they announced the Warhammer Plus deal, or like that they were doing it, you know, the stock didn't bounce 10% like it did with the Cavill announcement, right? Because only Warhammer folks and people are going to be the ones who are going to be subscribed to that and interested in it. And they also, it's limited by how much they're able to report and how big they're how much they're able to promote it and all that kind of stuff. It's just, you know, they'll have a good size group of people to cross sell it to, but you know, a break even sort of enterprise is probably what they've designed it to be, and that's what it's been doing.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. Danny, how much has that 5 million total views number been fudged? Because
How much
currently
of it
it's about,
is
it's kind of been inflated or kind of taken from other things, because that currently works out at 44 video views per subscriber.
That's interesting. I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be surprising to me if some people just like put it on in the background, having already watched everything while they paint and that kind of stuff. I can really see that. And like a battle report is a significant amount of time, right?
Mhm.
That you can spend watching something like that. Was it total views or was it hours spent viewing?
Total views. Their videos have been viewed 5 million times.
5 million times.
Well, imagine how many times you view a painting video. Like
Just
if you're trying
once,
to
because I watched Louise do a
do a
painting
one-on-one.
video, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I will never be able to do that, and I turn it off immediately.
I see.
If they just quit hobbying altogether.
Just quit. Yeah.
At the,
Just throw my
I
mouse
guess
in
a
the
little
trash.
perspective at their half-year report last year, which is the last time they gave any numbers on this. I don't think they gave detailed specifics in their annual report in the summer. I could be corrected if I'm wrong there, but it was 1 million. So after the first 6 months of Warhammer Plus, they did 1 million views. In the intervening year, they've done another 4 million. So I guess that means the velocity is sort of picking up. Maybe it's actually picking up steam rather than the opposite. Who knows?
It'd be
I know
hard.
the content that I actually use from it is all Warhammer Vault stuff because I'm a weirdo. But like,
Sure.
I am subbed and I forgot to get my stupid model. I never got my stupid model
Twice.
You guys can still get it. I will say, the hammer and bolter stuff is super good, and there's good things on there. Just temper expectations, right? But moving on, like what really reminded me or kind of brought me down to earth about, like, guys, Warhammer Plus is actually successful if you look at it there, because a meme showed me another area's financials, which is a weird statement to put together. Black Library only made 1.6 million last year. So they make less than 2 million a year. Danny, Val, you guys surprised by how low the profit is off of Black Library when there's so much coming out of there?
No. And here's why. They're not marketing that stuff to make, I mean, yeah, it's nice if it makes a profit, but all of these are just advertisements for their intellectual property.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if they spend the money now making sure that that's developed and that there are things for people to read, like, it's going to pay off in the back end, I assume. Or I don't know. Maybe that's the logic behind it.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of had like a bit of an epiphany the other day where like I kind of felt like their entire retail chain operation and probably a good chunk of Black Library is just like to plant seeds in people's heads that's along the lines of, when I can afford this, I'm going to buy so much of this shit. And I feel like that's all the retail chain does, is like people walk by, it's like, I'm too young, I don't have a job or whatever, like I can't do this now, but one day I'm going to get a 9-to-5, I'm going to come back. And that's I feel like that's the actual story for a lot of people in the hobby.
Sure.
And like I think Black Library is part of that. Is just like, how can they get a little earworm in there to get to get people interested in the settings and all that kind of stuff to get more repeat business. So it's a, regardless of how much money it actually generates, it is an incredibly important piece of the whole operation.
Oh yeah. And it keeps these people going, Val, in that exact same thing, right? Like, it's going to keep them interested in the product while they're too poor to otherwise afford to get into the hobby, or by their estimations. They're probably not.
No, they're too poor. It's fine.
So anything that can get people hooked, they're really good at that. I think Tanya's calling out like about licensing in the chat. Their licensing revenue was in fact down this in the first half of the year. Only because, though, they took some big front-end payments on some recent licensing deal, according to the preamble. We were supposed to do a tier list of Roundtree one-liners. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, there were some good ones.
That'll
Roundtree,
be our
by the way,
killer
spit some hot fire. He threw a lot of pieces of Games Workshop right under the bus on this. Specifically, IT was my favorite one.
Yeah. Next week, Roundtree. No, if I could, next week, Roundtree one-liners, just to really get us in the LVO spirit. Noble Master, by the way, calling us all out by saying you could be so much better at this. Yes, yeah, we could, but that's okay. The other thing we noticed in that half-year report is that in this next slide, no Amazon contract has been signed. They agreed in principle to explore opportunities with Amazon Studios, but that's about it. That's a very vague statement, right, Val?
Yeah, but it's also what was in the original press release as well, that it was an agreement in principle, that it wasn't like a signed, sealed, delivered thing.
Yep.
And that, you know, on top of development times and all the rest of it, it's still not even like in stone. So, I mean, I really hope this goes through. I think it'll be phenomenal. But yeah, it's an agreement in principle, and we haven't seen any finalization yet.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Danny, like you were nodding your head along, you're in kind of agreement that you're like, yeah, dumbass, nothing is agreed yet.
Well, I mean that's what an agreement in principle is.
I don't go to your fancy law school. And maybe if you could say it in this way of a formula or in German, I might be able to understand you. I couldn't. I can say hello. Moving on. This next slide is titled Gingerbread Omunda. One of our good friends shared this in a local group. This is
Delicious.
an entire Necromunda board made with gingerbread. Danny, could you take us into some detail about what we're looking at?
All right. So here, I'm going to full screen this thing on my computer here. Maximize. That's like enhance, but for Grim After Dark. Are those menorah holders? What are those?
Those are menorah holders.
Okay, cool.
That's very good eyeball. I did not notice that. Yes.
All right, so we've got some menorah holder walkways or decorative elements combined with a lot of gingerbread, graham crackers, frosting together to make a ruined city. There's such inspirational phrases graffitied on the walls as "Be kind" and "Goliath dumb." There's also some little
Goliath dumb.
There's also some little like chocolate snowmen like as scatter terrain, and I can see some orange gumdrops. I assume are like maybe some wound markers or something. But yeah, it looks like fully interactive terrain. They have a lot of gates built out of pretzels, a lot of gumdrops, a lot of red hots. That's what we're looking at.
This feels like the sequence where Homer falls asleep at the wheel, except he's a Warhammer fan. Just taking bites out of the gantries. Wow,
amazing,
delicious.
Yes.
Also, Goliath dumb feels like graffiti made by a Goliath ganger, but by
to incite the other ones.
Insults themselves.
It was accidental. They meant to say Goliath smart, but the guy didn't get the message.
Oh, Andrew in chat, I just keep thinking of the sticky models. No, that was a few weeks ago when we covered the model that was covered in 100 layers of hard coat. That's something different entirely. Guys, this is a gingerbread terrain setup. What are other foods that you can use as terrain?
Oh, pot roast.
Pot roast.
Yeah.
Is that obstructing, impassable? Is that kind of
well, it's dense, John. I don't know if you've ever had a pot roast before, but it's pretty dense.
Well, I was thinking from a Warhammer fantasy perspective, I like the idea of well sculpted rolling hills of mashed potatoes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's pretty
good.
Delightful.
Maybe a pat of butter just right on the top of all of them, just melting down in there. Oh yeah, babbling brook of gravy.
Yeah,
delightful.
The skinks will love that.
Oh God, the smell. You guys haven't thought of the smell.
Kelsey with freaking spaghetti is killing
me. A meatloaf terrain set for Tyranid players. Just eat along. Dude, I love it. Well, what are some
cake?
So gingerbread Omunda, obviously very Christmas themed. What are some other holiday themes we can have for terrain sets or food theme sets?
Oh, well, you got your communion wafer Easter burn down ruin set, obviously.
Just don't drink the water if you're under 21. It's fine.
I'm thinking, hey, it can be grape juice other places. It doesn't have to be wine.
Yeah.
I'm thinking 4th of July. With destructible terrain.
Oh, okay. Celebrate your
like
company.
Destroy a forest, leave a crater, but if there are models inside, well,
You roll your wingding dice. If it comes out filing cabinet, you have to.
Yeah, that's it. They're done.
You have
Oh,
to
that's a
set
filing
off the-
cabinet.
You get that empty folder. You got an empty soul.
Better check the random terrain chart. Just a bunch of wingding symbols on there.
Oh, here I
Excellent.
gotta put a file. I gotta put a file folder out or 2 documents. Office Warhammer.
Oh God, I love it. Moving on. This guy here very upset at a brand new Horus Heresy model. It's an Alpha Legion sniper. He's very upset that the gun barrel does not line up with the bullet hole place. I know guns very well. Danny, is the hand over the face reaction for the model or for the person who's bothered by this? What's more embarrassing, the design of the gun or
Well,
the
hold
person
on. Let me
who
see
was
the
like,
model again. I was zooming in
Yeah.
to see.
I've been
Enhanced.
staring at this all day. I have no idea what the hell's going on here.
He's mad because in real life the bullet wouldn't be able to fire because you put it in below where the chamber is. The red line is where the bullet would go.
Ah, I
First
see
of
what
all,
you're saying here.
Or the
Looking at the
barrel.
green line, it appears to be crooked. So we can't even take this guy's representation of this model in any kind of a meaningful way.
Yes.
Yeah,
fair.
the bullet hole place. Thank you. Thank you, Tanya.
Could you spot the person who is not a native of the North American continent that doesn't know these parts? Oh boy, I'm still laughing about wingdings. How important is accuracy in fantasy? So like, do these kind of touch points of realism, sort of like gun barrels being straight, kind of things going where they're supposed to go, do those touch points
Well, I
of
mean, you
realism
wouldn't see
help us ground it?
you wouldn't see a projectile hole tube not lining up properly.
Yeah. Evan
barrel?
Van Dyke, Sepulture of Heroes. Let us know. I think he knows weapons. He's mad because the receiver assembly supposedly doesn't line up with the barrel.
I mean, that's one way you could say it.
Yep, that sure sounds accurate. Guys, what is a model you've seen that's frustrated you in its inaccuracies? You guys frustrated about some things. I can tell. What's the model that's frustrated you?
I don't get mad at models, John. I get even.
How have you got even?
No, but like I'm not the guy to ask this question because I played with Azrael and his gun, Lion's Roar, like 1 million times, and that gun is in no way functions at all. There's no way that gun actually works.
I'll tell you what annoys me.
Yeah.
The fact that the Valkyrie is actually like a 28 millimeter sized fucking Harrier jet. And everything else, every other vehicle in the game is like significantly scaled down, and the Valkyrie is just the most gigantic thing in the world. And it always bothers me.
Because
it does as a result.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they didn't realize that when they brought it in from Forge World. They didn't realize that Forge World was making the true scale, like actual models where you can fit all the guys in the back and all that kind of stuff. And then if you put it on a flying stand and make it out of plastic, it looks super dumb, and it makes me upset every time I see it.
It's fair. So guys, when you're at LVO, please take up your Valkyries for Val to sign. He will take that with Sharpie. Put the old John Hancock on the side.
Uriel Ventress has square boots.
According to our chat, he does. Just because that was what the Codex Astartes demanded. Or the Index, yeah. You gotta have square boots.
I hate it.
Valks for Val is the hashtag we're using for that one, according to chat. Thank you, Dode. Valks for Val.
Love it.
We're moving on to bad Tau takes that I found.
Oh, great!
Which is always
sure you
a
found
great.
Oh, this one's like super awful. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this one says the real answer, and if you know GW, is Tau were introduced to suck money from incel weebs. That's it. They were hated because people at the time who played Warhammer felt they were low-key nerds who almost universally hated anime. Almost normal. Then all of a sudden, you have the weeps coming in, Naruto running to the tables and talking about tentacle porn, chicken tendies, and their My Little Pony collections. The Warhammer community didn't want to be associated with the weebs, and it was forced on us because money. Hate was warranted. Guys, take me through this terrible Tau take.
What an awful person! Like it just sucks the air right out of my lungs. This is just like what a loser. Like I'm like what?
Mhm.
What? Like
I
you
will
were just like
Well,
what?
clearly you haven't played against Tau before, because if you had played against Tau even one time, you would empathize with this. I assume it's a man. I'm going to say man, like a million times over. So yeah, I appreciate his candor and his honesty
Mhm.
and really helping us to understand why
Does
we
it
have to deal with Tau players on a monthly or even weekly basis for some people, which is really unfortunate.
Does it bother you that one of the reasons he said GW invented Tau was to take advantage of people, Naruto running to the tables, when Naruto didn't actually come out until late 99, and the Tau Codex was published in early 99?
There's been successive waves of Tau players, so let's not like discount them just because they're from the newer wave. Let's discount them because they're Tau players.
Like
Okay.
you telling like tentacle porn? You telling me Slanesh didn't have tentacle porn like not locked down like well in advance of the Tau?
Yeah,
Like I mean,
but they're
Not
cool.
just talons.
you know?
Yeah. So some interesting facts I learned while researching Tau. I did wipe my computer afterwards.
Good call.
Geoff Thorpe began developing Tau. You guys will like this. Initially, they were conceived as a counterpart to the Lizardmen faction from Warhammer Fantasy, in the
All
same
right.
way the Elder are counterpart to the High Elves.
Interesting.
How do you think Tau would have changed or been different if they had just been sort of designed as a kind of a space lizardman force? Would we see something similar looking?
10,000 times cooler.
Yeah, they would have been a lot cooler, that's for sure.
You wouldn't have any of these Naruto weebs running around,
Yeah,
I'll tell
exactly.
you that much. Shit.
Yeah, if I see one more person run past me at a tournament with their arms behind their back, like I'm not going to deal with it. It's going to be a throw punch from me.
However,
Yeah.
let's keep the chicken tenders no matter what happens to Tau.
Chicken tendies, I'm down with those.
Mm-hmm.
Though the guy was
Nothing wrong
actually
with that.
pretty
Ain't
right.
Nothing wrong with that.
So early 90s that happened. Late 90s when it was coming out, Jazz Goodwin actually designed a lot of the Tau as a way to attract new players who weren't interested by a space Tolkien aesthetic that most of the other armies had. So he was sort of right about
What?
that one.
Okay, wait a minute though. There's no lizardmen in Tolkien.
Well, so what they're saying is Warhammer Fantasy, most of the races were based on sort of like a science fiction version of Tolkien fantasy.
Sure.
Races. And they brought the Tau in as a way to kind of circumvent that and be away from that and kind of like, look, we're cool because we have weird goat people.
But
I didn't say it worked. But,
if they had lizards, they still wouldn't be Tolkien-esque. Like they're Tolkien-esque.
Well, that was the late 90s because Geoff Thorpe came up with it early.
Almost the exact same time, maybe a little bit earlier. They bring in Necrons. They're both of them are almost the same.
Necrons are slightly earlier than Tau.
Yeah. And Krons are still. I don't know. They're very different, but like that's an interesting point though. Like of the original like Rogue Trader sort of race deck. Like who wasn't sort of Tolkien in origin? I guess the Space Marines are sort of unique in that sense.
Not really.
Sort of?
They're just like the Dunedain.
Pygmy and Humies.
Yeah, or like the original, like the OG humans were really powerful in Tolkien. So
demons, like actual having demons.
Balrog of Morgoth.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's a demon. Yep. That's a demon right there, bud. Yep. Okay. Well, I don't know, man. I'm just throwing it. And then since then, like anything, we got squats back.
Well, and you also have Necrons.
Yeah, Tyranids are
upgraded.
But they're not Rogue Trader. They come in the second edition, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
No, they were in Rogue Trader, but it was like a really, really small,
like Gene Stealers.
Yeah, it was like Gene Stealers and Tyranids were different. They weren't the same yet. And like the original Tyranid was like a really big Termagant. But guys, yeah, you're right though that those are not Tolkien-esque.
Chat coming in with a fire question though. Who is the Tom Bombadil of 40K?
Oh, Clouseau.
Oh, Obi-Wan Sherlock Clouseau.
Correct.
The famous Inquisitor.
I was just gonna guess Malcador.
I just don't think he sings enough.
And Kelsey coming saying Necrons are the 40k Tomb Kings. Now they are. When they were originally introduced, they were pretty much just the T-800 from Terminator, right?
They were more like
Automatons?
Lovecraft-esque, like with the Satan,
Oh,
like in the unknowable horror that they represented. I don't know.
So that's why they were bad, because it was based on a bad concept.
I gotta say, of
Moving
all
on.
the fantasy
Yeah.
races, the ones that have come furthest up my tier list of races that seem cool, Tomb Kings. Ever since I found out that Cetra like rolled out and fought the Chaos Wastes, like just this like skeleton dude on a chariot like rolling through the Arctic, I was like, you know what, this guy's got play. I want to know more.
Guys,
Then
I don't
it turned
know
out
enough.
there's no Black Library fiction whatsoever about them, so I kind of ran into a dead end.
I don't know enough about The Hobbit or Lord of the Rings.
I'll take this offline.
We were called, Danny, we were called Blue Wizards. I don't get that reference.
We don't have names, and we just kind of are there.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's right. That's a really good call.
Yeah, it works.
James Workshop on Twitter, or the actor who plays him, came with this very good take about a current situation with wizards doing a big poop in their pants and pissing off the entire D&D customer base with OGL. Let's all take a moment to reflect on how my company has never made a mistake. His company, of course, referring to Games Workshop. Val, Danny, what's been going on with Wizards of the Coast? It's been all over the internet, and I don't follow it enough to know.
Danny, you're the actual lawyer.
Oh, okay. There was a notice.
He hasn't. Rule 34 says he's not. He told us earlier.
That's 44, and I can have a limited license to practice once I finish this semester. So, like it's
limited to Rule 34.
Yeah, 44. So, do I have to keep correcting you on rules, or what's going to happen here, John?
I'm going to keep on saying it's Rule 34 regardless. So up to you.
Please do not, because that is a very different rule.
The furry dice are probably more applicable.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh yeah. D&D. So, what they've done?
The open games license, Danny.
Yeah.
The open games license.
The open gaming license. So what they've done is I think they had this listed on like a financial report that they were planning on, or maybe it was a leaked email that they were planning on like trying to backtrack and like close down the open gaming license. Now,
the open gaping license,
OGL, open gaming license.
That's Rule 34.
Definitely heard you say it. I heard open gaping license there, but
gaping.
Fine. No, your word's not mine. No. Your word's not mine.
Man, that would have been the typo for the century right there, right?
I feel like it was maybe like a analyst call, and someone on the Hasbro Wizard side said, quote, Dungeons and Dragons is under monetized. Dun dun dun. And then later this shit leaked.
Yeah. And I'm looking at an article. Yeah, it's definitely about a leaked article. Saying that, and people freaked out about it. So we'll see. I kind of think the cat is out of the bag at this point. I think it's probably pretty hard to put the cat back into the bag. So like trying
Cats
to claim that, what's that?
Cats are tough. They don't want to be in that bag.
No.
If that bag's a little wet, a little water, a little moisture in there,
definitely not.
Not getting that cat in there.
They've seen this. They've seen this movie. They know what's going to happen. They're going right in the river.
What's happening is Wizards of the Coast or their business daddy
John, I think Danny and I are explaining this very clearly. I don't know.
Trying to monetize or charge people for creating their own content based on their system.
Well, they want to claim, like, there's people that are saying that they're going to try and claim ownership of the original OGL stuff. So like the stuff that third parties had produced for D&D all throughout different editions. Go ahead.
So no, I was just going to say that we have a comment chat. It would be the equivalent of GW claiming they could make Frontline Gaming pay them royalties for running 40K tournaments.
Or having 40K terrain.
Not so fast. Maybe 40K terrain if it was like actually... See, because like the thing that's funny about this is like Games Workshop has nothing like this because they actually just squashed it all. They actually like literally said, you can't do anything. We will crush you. This is, you can literally take Dungeons and Dragons characters written, all their rules, all that stuff. You can make a Kickstarter based on Dungeons and Dragons lore and all that kind of stuff and make money on it because of the current written open gaming license or whatever the hell it
Sure.
is.
Yep.
And that's wildly unique and tremendously permissive. And now what they're saying is they want to cut.
Sure.
And so, like, to a Warhammer player, it's cute and like NBD, and I think it's, I don't know. It seems wildly. It feels like TSR. That feels like something TSR would have done before it was even bought by Wizards and then swallowed by Hasbro. Like, this feels like something that I can't believe even exists.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So this next slide here kind of explains sort of what Val was going on about kind of the difference between GW fans and the Wizards of the Coast thing. So Danny, what are we looking
One of
at?
my favorites.
So what we were looking at is a famed anti-Semite talking to potentially the most famous Jewish person of all time. It's Mel Gibson talking to what is that? Eric Bana? Is that who played Jesus in Passion?
I don't think Eric Bana was Jesus, but good effort.
Really? Okay.
Was that Eric Bana?
Now I got to look it up.
I'm
Anyway,
looking it up
so
now.
yeah, he's
Caviezel.
covered in blood, crown of thorns, everything going on, and it's
I'll bring it back.
Mel Gibson is explaining to him that D&D fans, D&D fans, their company is being mean to them, and the Jesus is titled with Warhammer fans. So the idea here is that that they're really trying to communicate is that D&D fans really haven't gone through any hardship in their life or done anything really meaningful, and are taking all the credit for everything, whereas Warhammer fans have already experienced.
Can I just point out here, Kelsey and Shaq hitting him with the fire joke. Audio listeners thought you were talking about Kanye West for a second.
That's a good joke.
Oh, but yeah,
Yes.
Jim Caviezel was Jesus.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
Eric Bana's Aramaic just really wasn't on point enough. He was probably shortlisted for the role, but he just couldn't make it done. He didn't complete his English degree in Alaska yet, and thus hadn't an Aramaic course.
Jim Caviezel, by the way, from home of best in tabletop, Mount Vernon, Washington. That's where he was born.
Oh,
wow, interesting.
Exciting. Yeah. You know, looks like you can be successful out of Mount Vernon.
Isn't Mount Vernon also the name of the place where George Washington's plantation was?
That I don't know, but I'm going to say, yeah.
That's confusing. So there's a state.
Okay, yeah, but it's a state in Washington. It's a city in Washington.
State called Mount Vernon, but it's also, anyway, that blows my mind.
Yeah, that's where his manor was located. Yeah,
just the state of mind.
Manor. Nothing else happened there.
No.
The most telling thing about this meme here was the phrase that the company owns their hobby, which I thought was a very interesting kind of arrangement of words. Is this accurate? Is it kind of the split between Games Workshop and the Games Workshop kind of fan base and hobbyists? The fact that the fans think Games Workshop doesn't own Warhammer, and that the people who play it do.
I hope they don't think that.
But I mean, that's clearly not like. I think the joke here is that like the D&D people think that they own the hobby, whereas Warhammer fans clearly never had that. Never had that thought. Maybe the Rogue Trader guys back in the day, but it's been a long time since it was any sort of a, shared creative endeavor. Let's get some more global campaigns going, guys. Let's feel part of the party again.
Yeah.
Come on.
Hashtag Valkval. Do you guys, as we sign out here, do you guys have any tips for the poor Dungeons and Dragons community about how to deal with an oppressive company charging them money for things?
Again, not being charged money. I mean, they're already being charged money.
Yes. But any
like
words
asking for their cut. Also, I do like the fact that they say, this is a cute one in the leaked version, that if you do create stuff under the terms of that license, that the parent company, Wizards of the Coast, has an irrevocable, like, forever license to like reproduce and reprint and use whatever it is you create. That is pretty cute. So like if you use the license, yes, you can profit off it and sell it, but then again, they can also turn around, publish it, and sell it themselves. Kind of neat.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how that played out in court. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
I guess we'll find out next semester when you're finally allowed.
Yeah, that's when I take copyrights.
Limited legal liability.
I gotta get myself get myself in a class, get some learning, so I got something to bring to this show. You guys are picking up new words all the time, like how gun barrels worked.
John's gonna start giving the podcast or the video cast here in German, is what he told me.
We don't have German language coverage yet.
John, that could be you.
I can order a coffee, and I can ask for the bill, and I can differentiate between a male waiter and a lady waiter.
Can you?
But outside of that, no.
As what I used to say in my high school Latin class.
Oh God.
Canis est in via.
Can you?
Great. Thank you.
Dude,
the dog is in the street, John. The dog is in the street.
Well, while Val zips up his fly, that's all the time we have for today's episode of Grim After Dark. Thank you all for joining us. We explored the grim darkness. We hope you enjoyed our discussions. And remember to follow us on all of the social media. Like and subscribe. Hit up Kicker. Be like, hey, we want Wingdings dice. We will make sure that they happen because we won't leave them alone at LVO until the point where it's like, guys, I'm too busy to do this. If I just say yes, will you go away? And we'll be like, maybe. But until next time, stay safe, stay Warhammered, and remember, it's pretty grim after dark.
Absolutely. All right, and everyone's mics are completely still hot. No, everyone's mics because I don't have any buttons. So we'll just wind this down. Great outro there, John. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
appreciate how you did that. It was good. You put a ribbon on it.
Put a ribbon on it. Yeah,
that was nice. No, okay, yeah, and we're clear.
Yep. We're harassing Kicker for nonsense.
And can't wait for the French dub version of Grim After Dark. Not in my life.
Looking forward to that right now. Now people are trying to claim that
Maybe
this is a bit, but
I like that we can turn our ineptitude into bits. Comedy.